We do many different workshops. I have a great team behind me. Most of the workshops come from my experience and the experience of Spirit, and they help me put it together. We do a lot of self-development and a lot of self-awareness workshops. We do, I do what we call an Encountering Spirit workshop, which really helps us understand the different energies that we feel, that sixth sense that we have, that everybody has, which is our intuition. How do we interpret that? It shows us how to implement that and have an understanding so that we can take that back and work with that in our own lives and just make things a great deal better. There's a workshop that I've been working on for a little while now, and the name I've given it is Project Separation. And the reason I put this together was because I have so many people come to see me and how challenged they are with the emotions and the trauma of separating from someone, and especially when children are involved. We can live with a person for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and we think we know that person. And when it comes to separating, all of that stuff just goes out the door, and the anger and the greed and the ego gets in the way, and they fight. And the saddest thing is that they're adults and they have a better understanding and have no consideration for their children. And whilst that's really confronting, most people would say, no, I do consider my children, but they don't. Because in that trauma, when they talk about the other parent, or they put the other parent down in front of their children, that is their children's parent. So they have their genes, their blood running through their veins. So what it does is it starts to state to the child that I'm the same as that. So it impacts a child quite profoundly, to the point where it can destroy their soul. So putting Project Separation together is really, for me, about educating parents on taking responsibility, admitting their fault in that moment, being able to address that and see that, so that what they're doing is not hating and it doesn't get bitter and twisted. It's about them both taking responsibility for having their, or owning their part in that separation, understanding that their energies no longer suit each other anymore, and that's okay, but they don't have to turn into greedy, nasty, vindictive people because it's all about their ego. It's something I'm very passionate about, and I see a lot of kids turn to drugs, turn to cutting themselves, suicide, not having, you know, their parents, seeing their parents fight against each other. It's so traumatic. It's traumatic to see. So if I can educate parents on the understanding, you know, sometimes I think if they did this program before they separated, that maybe that would actually save their marriage or their partnership, because if they took responsibility and had an understanding and admitted their part in it, then, and they could forgive themselves and forgive their partner for it, that would get them on that journey of re-understanding each other again and bringing them back together. But to torture each other and bring out all the guns and the nastiness, and it's horrible, and I see it. And the program is very confronting, and I've done it that way with Spirit, to make sure that the message does get through, that it does impact people that have children who are in the midst of separating. Look, it wouldn't be my job to keep them together. If they choose to separate, then that would be their choice. But what I would love to ask them is to do the program first, so that maybe they can have an understanding of what it is that they've done, and that may actually reignite the flame between them. If they choose to separate after that, then it would still give them an understanding of not hating each other and not bringing in the ego and putting the children first, and not having this fight over, well, I'm going for full custody, or, you know, I'm not going to let you have these children because you've hurt me. The children are not the tool. The adults are the ones that need to they need to take responsibility, and they certainly need to take ownership of what they're doing, and they need to be the tools, not the children. Each parent, regardless of what they've done to each other in that marriage, these children still deserve to have each parent in their life, and it is unfair that one tries to take them off the other. It is really unfit, unjust, it's not fair, and it's certainly not good for the children. So it is something that I would really love to, my biggest dream would be to have it implemented before someone registered for separation, so that they could maybe just have a different insight about where their relationship has gone, and that they just choose not to use the children as tools regardless of their age. If somebody is willing to admit and take responsibility, then they will have a much better understanding of themselves and their partner, absolutely. But you've got to do the work. It's not something that I can hand you on a silver platter. It takes work to implement change. And you know, if you want a better life at the end of it, and you want to move on to another partnership, and you want to have that exciting, wonderful relationship with the next one, if you have not let go of previous experience or imprints from the last relationship, you are certainly not going to have that in a new one, because you're going to take all of that with you. So yes, if you do the work and you are truthful and honest with yourself in that delivery, and you really own everything, then you will come out of it easily a better person. I think we've been conditioned that men and women are different and we feel differently. Men have just as much emotion as women, and they are, and when they show that, they are beautiful, beautiful people. When that is suppressed, it gives grief and depression, because they suppress that emotion, and later on in life it turns into anger, and then most men will turn to alcohol or a substance to try and keep suppressing that feeling. I believe that men should be allowed to show their emotions just as women, and I think that needs to start at a young age. I believe that boys don't need to be tough. You know, if a young boy falls over and he scratches his knee or he hurts his knee, it is just as painful as if a girl falls over and hurts her knee. So why should he be told to toughen up, princess, when it hurts just the same? Again, I think I've seen men go from hiding their emotion and turning off their emotion to me working with them and showing them something different, and wives and partners and families have absolutely loved and embraced this new side of them. They also are great in partnerships when they show emotion, because they have empathy for their partner. So the men's workshops are, they're amazing, and men love it too. They see a different side of them that they feel free in. They don't have to hide that about them anymore, and it's not a scary thing, or it's not a sign of weakness for them to shed a tear. And I love it. I actually think it's really sexy that a man shows emotion. I love it. You don't need to be in a partnership to do a men's workshop. If you are missing something in your life and you just can't seem to grasp that, sometimes it's just about finding you. Any workshop that we do is about finding us and our higher selves, and when we get the understanding of that, then it's okay for us to be alone. We don't have to constantly rely on others to fulfill that void. We can fill that void ourselves, and having a partner in our lives or having those friendships in our lives is an added bonus. It's when we get that empowerment and we are not afraid of that, then we are the best we can be with ourselves and in relationships, and it flourishes. It's empowering. It's fantastic in a relationship. We become coexistent, not codependent, and it's a phenomenal feeling. It's phenomenal.